In this video, we're going to take a look at setting IPv6 addresses in a network. We'll look at configuring them two different ways, number one being manually assigned, and number two, using the EUI-64 notation as well. So I'm going to start out with this corp router here, and you can see just some general information about the network. I've given the prefix, so 2001 DB8 3C4D, and a different block for each of my subnets, if you want to think about it like that. So I've got networks 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So I can start out with my corporate router and just get logged into this here. So if we open up corp and I'm in config T mode, the first thing that I need to do is actually enable IPv6 routing. So out of the box, the routers do not support IPv6, so we just have to turn that on. Is basically all we're doing. The command to do that is IPv6 unicast-routing. So just enter there. Once you have that enabled, we can go ahead and set interface addresses, much like what we would have done before. So looking at my network diagram, I need to set up a couple of different interfaces. I'm just going to pick a gigabit interface for now. So I'm going to go into interface gig00, and at the moment there's nothing connected to this interface, but we can still put an address on it. So if I'm going to set a IPv6 address manually, so I type out the entire thing, what I'm going to do is start out with IPv6 address. I can type out my prefix that I had before, so 2001 DB8 3C4D, and this would have been on my 11 subnet. And what I'm going to do for the sake of time is just assume the remaining 64 bits or so was all zeros, and this will be the 1 address. So if you want to think about this like IPv4, this would be like saying this is a .1. I have to give it the subnet size, and this is the time we can actually use CIDR in our addresses. So slant 64, and hit enter. And then just make sure to turn those interfaces on. So do a no shutdown, just as you did in IPv4. Now if I want to view this interface, the way we do it is very similar, but the command's just slightly different. I can still do a do show, and this time we'll do an IPv6 interface brief. And there you can see the address that I just configured here. It's 2001 DB8 3C4D 11, and it's the address of 1. So fairly simple. I'm going to go ahead and configure the other two interfaces on this router at a serial 0 and a serial 01. So I'm going to go back to interface serial 01, rather 001, and we'll set up a IPv6 address with EUI-64. Now remember, what this is going to do is it's going to take the prefix, so I'm going to take my subnet, look at that interface's MAC address, pad the MAC address to 64 bits, and then combine the two for a unique address existing on that subnet. So what I'm going to do is IPv6 address, give it my prefix, so 2001 DB8 3C4D, this is on the 12 subnet. So I'll do ::/64, and since I didn't give it an actual host address, I just gave it the prefix. What I'll do now is EUI-64. Same thing as before, do a no shutdown. Again, if I go back and look at the interfaces now, so do show IPv6 interface brief, I'm going to see on my serial, it's created a unique address based off of the MAC address for that particular interface. So very simple. I didn't need to think about picking a host. I just let it handle that automatically for me. One more address here to configure, and we'll move to a different router and just verify connectivity. So again, interface serial 000, and this one I want to be IPv6 address, and we'll do 2001 DB8 3C4D, And this one's going to be on 13. So since I'm not filling out the remainder of the address, again, I can just do EUI-64. No shutdown. And we can see here, we just show IPv6 interface brief. There we have it. So we've got our gig 00, 0000, and 0001. Now I just realized actually from my network diagram, this interface I meant to have on the 12, and this interface I meant to have on the 13. No big deal here, we'll just switch those around. So if I flip-flop these like I configured, let's configure one more of these routers just to verify we have IPv6 connectivity. So if I go into Madison, remember, first things I have to do is enable IPv6 routing. So IPv6 unicast-routing. Go to my interface. So in this case here, we're going to have interface serial 000 IPv6 address, and I'm just going to do the EUI-64 notation. So 2001 DB8 3C 4D, and this one will be on 13 slant 64. No shutdown. We should see the interface actually come to an up state. So everything is good that way. Let's do a show IPv6 interface brief and grab this IP address. It looks like we missed the EUI-64. No big deal. Simple fix. So always good to check your work like that. So looking back, we have the address here. It looks much better than what we had before. So I'm going to copy this, go back to my corporate router, and we can just do a simple ping, paste that in there, and we can see we've got IPv6 connectivity.